this one. And welcome to another Sunday Night Live with How We Cruise.
Hey, everyone.
We made it. Made it back from work, in and out of the cold. Still frozen to the bone.
Yeah, you had a nice cold day. It's been a really cold, snowy, rainy, icky kind of day here in northern New Jersey.
Yes, working outside of New Jersey is sometimes not fun.
Yeah. No like real accumulations of snow, but it snowed all day long. Enough though that we
Danny
had.
D, welcome in, Danny D.
Welcome. There was enough snow today though that it left like a dusting. Enough that the kids went out and they played in the slush and shoveled the sidewalk for us this evening. So that was nice. Every week for at least the last 3 weeks or so, I keep saying, "Oh my gosh, it's Sunday again." This week, I can't say that. I don't feel like we were just here 2 seconds ago.
No, this has been
it's been a long
week.
Wow.
Very long week.
Yeah.
A long week of work.
And next week's going to be even longer.
And then the week after that's going to be super short.
But, guys, it's December 11th. Can I tell you? It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Anyway, we're still putting kids to bed, This is how we cruise with kids. So the time's going to fly. I mean, yes. 2023 is going to be here before you know it, which I can't wait for. I never wish away the time, but we have so many cruises coming up in 2023 and even into 2024.
Yes.
I'm so excited for them.
And it's been a part of the reason it's been such a long week is the interest in people booking these cruises. The deals are still going on, so we're still getting some bookings. So if you've not decided yet to sail with us or with one of the other cruises, look into that because now's a good time.
Guys, we're talking. They do. We're talking about all kinds of questions tonight. We're talking about group cruises. We're talking about travel agents. We're talking about upcoming cruises. We're talking about the most common questions that we hear over and over and over again. So don't feel bad if you're asking them. They're great questions because everybody's asking them. But let's talk about our week. So last Sunday we were live.
Yes.
Monday, I don't know. We were busy, work going on, figuring stuff out, like all kinds of stuff. We were booking galore. Like guys, so awesome. And then Tuesday, I don't know.
The kids' practices and schools.
Practice and work and hockey. Wednesday.
We didn't do anything Wednesday. Wednesday was a very insignificant day.
Anyone who follows us on any kind of, if you watched our shorts, if you watched our Facebook, if you watched our Instagram, you know that we had a lot of fun on Wednesday. We were in New York City.
One of the best places you can go around the holidays is New York City.
There's nothing like the city.
And one of the best things to do, if you've never been to New York City at the holidays, is check all of it out. And I think we saw just about every holiday attraction we could possibly do on Wednesday. Get to show our good friends.
Can I say what like we go into the city for a purpose, right? We always go in, we have something to do. It might be to see a show. It might be to go to an appointment because like we live close enough to the city where we even have doctors in the city and we have things of that sort. So we always go into the city for a purpose. And we rarely go in to really just kind of take it in and really enjoy it. You do that a little bit when you go in to see like a show or go to dinner or something. But when you get to experience the city with people who have never seen it before and get to experience it as a tourist, which we don't always do. It's so much fun. We had a blast. So guys, if you haven't already seen some of those shorts or some of our posts or some of our friends' posts, why are we being cryptic? It's not a secret.
I'm not.
Brian said we weren't going to talk about it because we don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But guys, go ahead, post in the chat if you know who you are. What did we do on Wednesday? How's that? And be sure to tune in tomorrow night.
Question already. How was it looking like a 4-foot kid besides Josh?
Guys, I was doing my best to even exaggerate it with the angles, but I didn't have to try hard. I mean, like literally, Brian comes up to Josh's armpits. And that's not calling Brian short, and it's not calling Josh tall, but yeah, Brian short and Josh is tall.
But yeah, no, so it was Wednesday was definitely a fun day. I mean, you're gonna get to see most of it in Have Luggage Will Travel's vlogs, but yeah, Saks Fifth Avenue Christmas displays and oh yeah, we did the whole planes, trains, and automobiles thing. We hit just about every New York City motor transportation.
And we didn't do it on purpose.
No.
It was so funny. We ended up taking the subway, taking a bus, taking a taxi, and the ferry. Yeah, I mean, it was such a fun day. We had so much fun. There's more content to come. I mean, I know Josh and Man have a ton of content, but yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so definitely check out their vlogs. And we do have, I know Julie normally, we do this rather quickly, but we have a lot of new people in the
Go
chat
ahead, Brian.
Tonight, so
yeah, I know this is your favorite part. Brian loves to say hello to everybody, so thank you for joining us.
So we have to give props to cruisetips for being in first.
Thank you.
Have Luggage Will Travel here, talking about them. Have Pitt finally made it. Hello, Tony Diaz. Bruce made it over, and again, thank you to Josh and Chastity. Always love this community. You know, we hang out on your guys live at 8:00, and then we come on our own live, and a lot of people come over and join us, and that's super cool about this. We get to talk all for 2 hours. It's nothing I'd rather do with our Sunday nights. So glad to see your son is doing well over in Korea. So that's good. Catherine Concepts, welcome. Oh, I had the flu then pneumonia, but I'm back. Well, welcome back. I'm glad you're feeling better. Let's see who else is here with us. Brian and Julie are here. Elaine has joined us. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Danny's here. Thank you for joining us, Danny. We do owe you a call. We will get to that. Destination Fun is here. Alice is here. Danny D is here. Thank you for joining us for the first time, and thank you for subscribing. Jennifer is here. She has joined us. And I think that might be it. Do we get everybody? Andrew's here. James Campbell's, thank you for joining us. I think that, and of course, Eddie and Allison. But yeah, right. So Julie did want to talk a lot about some questions we've gotten.
Well,
Mike's
first
here.
of all, I just want to say,
Cruise Vet's here. Thank you for joining us, Mike. And of course, well, Mom's here.
Oh, hi, Mom. So the question was, what drink was I going to have with me on the side of me tonight? So I did opt for something a little bit more that I would have around the holidays. So this is my white chocolate martini with just a smidge of coffee. So I don't know what white mocha. I don't know. Anyway, very good. Little bit of vodka, a little bit of white chocolate Godiva, a little bit of Kahlua, just a smidge of Kahlua, and yeah.
Oh, Tony's job. Was
cheers, everyone.
Moving subway cars.
I think I'm gonna try to have a different cocktail, or mocktail, or coffee, or whatever it is. I'm gonna have a different drink each of our lives. So I'll share with you guys what I have. I'll have to share, and maybe I'll post the recipe to this one in our Instagram and our Facebook. So check that out.
Since we've become a food channel, I'll share some of these comments now. Pork roll is taking over the world. For those of you who don't know, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, come visit us.
Now you do.
Come visit us up in here.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Chris is right. Ask for Chicago-style pizza in New York. They will really appreciate you.
No, can we talk about the pork roll for a minute? Okay, so guys, we've been talking about pork roll for a long time. You know, we're from New Jersey. Like pork roll is like from New Jersey. It's the only place you can really find it. You can get it some other places. You can definitely get it shipped to you. But pork roll is, I mean, obviously pork that is like ground up. It is not bologna. A lot of people refer to it as a type of bologna meat. We have recently heard that Taylor, it is called Taylor ham, that brand only. Brian calls it Taylor ham. I call it pork roll. So we took our friends for pork roll, egg and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup on a.
That's right.
Roll. It wasn't on a pork roll.
Moonlight is having pork roll and disco fries for supper tomorrow night.
Yes.
At TikTok Diner.
Awesome. There you go. So yeah, we went to the TikTok Diner. It's
Let's see how many Instagram photos we can put with hashtag TikTok Diner, and then. See if we can get them to sponsor our channel.
Hashtag TikTok and hashtag How We Cruise because yeah, guys, go check it out. But if you can't get to TikTok and you're in New Jersey, you can get you can get pork roll, egg and cheese just about at any deli in New Jersey. I mean, I don't know any place that you can't get pork roll, egg and cheese in New Jersey. I'm not kidding.
Catherine has a nice tip for you. Tiramisu martinis are to die for. My favorite drink on the breeze.
Ooh, okay. You know what? Okay, Catherine Concepts. Tiramisu martini. If you have a recipe and you want to send it to us, go ahead. You do that. If you don't have a recipe, I will look it up. No problem. And next week, I will be sampling the tiramisu martini. All right. And if you think you have a drink that I need to try, there we go. If you think you have a great drink that you want me to try, let me know and I will sample it on one of our lives. So today it is the white chocolate mocha martini, and next week it will be the tiramisu martini. So thank you, Catherine Concepts. And here we go. So anyway, we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm reading comments and I'm like, oh, no, don't click on that.
No, we haven't got any bad ones yet.
Love you, Tony Diaz.
I get it. I'm a little tired today.
He is. Brian literally stood out in the cold, in the bitter cold and snow all day. I wish I could show you a picture of him all bundled up, but I'm not allowed to. So
it's time for Josh's 8:00 feeding.
Listen, we need to get going on our conversation.
All right, let's get going.
There's a couple things we want to talk about. Here's the deal. I said that we both said we were really busy this week booking a lot of cruises. We booked a bunch of cabins for both our June 2023 group cruise on Oasis of the Seas and our November 5th Anthem Takes Jersey week. And we're also booking a group cruise for another client who is going on an awesome cruise. So we've been doing a lot. We've been taking and fielding a lot of first-time cruiser questions, which we're used to, and we do that a lot in different social media groups that we're in and everything. But we've been talking about how we always get the same questions over and over again. And I know we've talked about some of this stuff, and I know we have some really seasoned cruisers in this group, but we definitely want to talk about these questions, and we would really appreciate anybody who's in this chat who has things to add to this conversation, because these questions just keep coming up. And I know that we have some valuable information to share, and you guys have even more valuable information to share, and together we can put out some great stuff that people can look back on and get some information. So
I don't think we should go in like order of most common question. I think we should go with, what was your favorite question that you got this week? I have mine.
Well, then you start, because I don't know. I didn't think about that. What's your favorite question?
That one.
No.
This is why I'm in charge.
Now, let's just go through, and I mean, I think, first of all, let's talk about this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in. Brian's gonna share them. So let's do this. Where am I? Let's close that because that's just gonna confuse me. There we go. Oh, okay. So the question is, what can a travel agent do for me? Like, what can a travel agent do for you? Why should I use a travel agent? Are there pros? Are there cons? Are there pluses or negatives? And again, none of these questions came up just once. All of these questions that we're going to talk about today came up multiple times, multiple ways, from multiple different people, multiple avenues. So what can a travel agent do for you? Brian, why use a travel agent?
I don't know. Blaine told me I'm supposed to just be the eye candy and supposed to sit here and be quiet.
Okay, then. I'll talk about it.
No, what can a travel agent do for you? God, you start.
A number of things. I mean, we do a lot of group cruises and things of that sort, but taking that out of the equation, if you use a travel agent is there. You don't pay a travel agent. You don't pay them anything. And that's another question we get a lot. How much do I owe you? What is your fee? How can I compensate you? You don't pay us. We're paid. We're compensated to do the work for you by who we're booking you with, right? So if we're booking you on a cruise, the cruise line does pay us a commission, but you don't see that fee. Now, if you book directly through the cruise line, you don't see a cheaper price. You get the exact same price. So it's not like, oh, well, yeah, sure, we're going to use you, but we're being surcharged, and then that's the fee that the company's doing. No, it doesn't work that way. You pay the exact same fee, whether you use it or not. So, and so then what do we do for you? What we do is we watch the prices, we get you deals, we see if we can get you a cheaper deal, even after you've booked. Now, it doesn't even have to be a cruise. This could be a land vacation. This could be an all-inclusive. This could be, the big mouse with the ears. It could be anything.
Oh, we're not allowed to say that?
I don't know. We can. Disney. Whatever. I was being creative.
No, but James does say that he's going on his first cruise in March, and I'm listening. I need learn this. Thank you. So
James, please, we invite you to drop any questions that you have, and nothing is too silly, nothing is too simple, nothing is too complex. If you have any questions that pop up, drop as many as you want in the chat, and we will address them. And we invite that from everybody.
But essentially, the shortest thing is, what can a travel agent do for you, and that's provide their expertise. Most travel agents do that job because, well, they like travel, and they have traveled, and they know a lot of things about a lot of places and have experienced things that, maybe you might run into an issue. You don't need a travel agent until you need a travel agent. So,
yeah.
And,
and we weren't travel agent fans until we became travel agents.
Fairness, we were anti-travel agent. And now I don't see why we ever were. And that was kind of you learn.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
It's funny because our friends, so glad you guys are home, Josh and Amanda, but they had some stuff come up in their trip, and I think it was Josh, but he said, sometimes we experience things so that we can share our expertise and our knowledge with you. So yeah, we do travel a lot. And we go through all the ups and the downs and the goods and the bads just the same way that you do. It's not like, I don't think I've ever had a trip that's gone absolutely 100% perfectly, ever. So the little blunders that we experience and the things that we go through, we share that knowledge with you on how to deal with it, what to do, what's worked for us, what hasn't. So, and the positives are, we share all the stuff with you so that way you can hopefully avoid anything that we do.
We have a question.
Okay.
And that question comes from Josh.
All right.
Thoughts on travel insurance?
You know what? That is actually in my list of things to talk about, because
since it's a question, let's jump to it if that's okay.
Okay. So I feel like, so the question that I had was, do I need travel insurance?
I'll tell you what.
So this is even better.
In order to get through as many questions as possible, we're going to keep our answers kind of brief. But feel free to drop your thoughts down in the comments, or hit us up on Facebook, or join our Facebook community page and drop more questions there, because we can give you more in-depth answers, or always send us a message. We're always happy to answer.
I love talking about travel insurance, though. Okay. I really do.
Well, it's only an hour show, so go ahead.
Listen, let's talk about what's important, right? So travel insurance, you can book through, if you're talking cruise, you can book it through your cruise company, or you can get a third party, no problem. If you're doing any other kind of land-based or flying or whatever, you can always get travel insurance for anything. You can get travel insurance per trip, or you can buy a travel insurance package that is an annual package. There you go. Yep. See the world with Chris. Have Pitt, get a yearly plan. It's much cheaper if you travel more than once a year. I don't disagree. If you travel a lot, a yearly plan is definitely something. We do not have a yearly plan yet, which is something that is definitely high on our list to do, because but travel agent
Vacation Voyagers.
Travel insurance will cover if your luggage is lost, if your flight is canceled, if you need to
Here's what I found.
Siri found something, I don't know. If you're delayed and have to get extra amenities, if your trip is canceled altogether if you have an emergency and you have to cancel a trip. So go ahead,
So I'll just tell a quick little story. So, you know, the first time I ever heard of travel insurance is when Julie's parents were on a trip and ended up just simple.
Is Mom still in the chat?
Yes, she is.
Chime in, Mom.
You think it was your dad had a simple little sinus infection and decided I can tough this out through the cruise, or I can go down to medical and get some medicine to make myself feel a little better and enjoy my cruise.
It was like the second day of the cruise, and you know, you get there and you can't help getting sick. I mean, he didn't know that was going to happen. This is pre-COVID.
Went down to medical. It was in and out of there in a couple minutes. They gave him some antibiotics, and it was a several $1,000 bill that they were stuck.
And it saved his vacation. He had a great time, and you know what? The antibiotics cleared everything up, and he was good.
But the most personal to us is we had a trip. If you look at our vlogs on it for Harmony of the Seas, we were coming back from Florida with our 3 kids, and the flight got delayed, and then finally canceled. And
at like 12:30 at night.
It was 1:37 in the morning.
Okay.
Because I will never forget it. And to try and carry 3 cranky sleeping kids through the airport. Is
Tara here with us? I think that's when she started following us. She told me that before.
It was now in our situation, that airline said they would take care of it, and they offered to put us up in a hotel and transportation and all that. But the line we were at the back of the line because we had to carry 3 kids all the way through the airport.
Who were tired at 1:00 in the morning and screaming and crying.
So what we did is we just walked out of the airport, went right back over to the rental car that was just closing, grabbed a rental car.
I don't know how you even caught that, but yeah.
She saw us coming out of the airport, and I told her what happened, and she actually went back in and got a couple other people rental cars. So thank you to, I think her name was Ann, very nice lady at Budget.
Sanford. Yeah, Sanford.
We were able to get our own hotel, and we didn't have to, we just took care of it there, did what we needed to do for us and our kids. And then when we got home, we filled out an insurance claim, and everything was covered. So it was a lot easier.
The car was covered. The rental car was covered. The hotel room that we had to stay in that night was covered. And we also got meal coverage because we were delayed and we had to get meals. So we paid a minimal amount. It was under $200 for the 5 of us for a trip, for a week-long trip with flight and cruise and everything else. And we incurred multiple hundreds of dollars beyond that because of this cancellation, this delay, and they covered it all. We did have to pay it up front, but they reimbursed us 100%.
Mom said her bill was $42,500. I think there's an extra zero in there.
Hopefully.
Did you buy the medical center? Or name it after you?
Yeah, so almost $5,000. So anyway, hopefully you don't need to use it. Hopefully you don't use it for anything. But if you need to go to medical on the ship, if you have, and we had an instance where we had friends who somebody got hurt on the pier and was whisked away to get stitches at the port. And your health insurance is at least ours is not, and I think most people's is not, so I won't speak for yours, is not good in Mexico or in some of these islands or in some of these other foreign countries at all. So your travel insurance will help cover that. So I'm a huge fan. I always recommend it. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but the cost of it is minimal compared to your vacation, and it will definitely save your vacation.
Yes. So we could do an entire live just talking about
$5,000
travel insurance, but
maybe we'll make that a future topic. Maybe we'll even invite some guests on and we'll talk about travel insurance.
Do we recommend travel insurance? Yes.
Yes. Hands down. 1,000,000%.
Don't leave home without it.
Wow.
All right. What's your next question?
All right. So, and if anybody has any questions, drop them in.
Yes.
But
Wayne actually is offering you good tips. Speaking of trips being canceled, please don't fly in the day of your cruise. Always fly in at least a day early.
Why do you do that, Brian?
Because even if your flight is canceled and you can get yourself reimbursed for missing your flight and your cruise, you still miss your cruise. The ship does not wait because your flight was canceled.
Nope. If you do,
now there are some people that say if you book the flight through
the cruise company, they'll do their best to whatever. Sometimes they wait for you if it's a minimal amount. Sometimes they'll fly you to the next destination if they can, and sometimes they'll just reimburse you and help you out, whatever. In other words, if you book through the cruise line, but that's a whole other topic.
Blaine, when you leave the north and it snows, not a pretty sight. Yes, when we flew down, that was a big fear when we left on Harmony last year. We flew on Christmas Day to get down to that cruise. That was a little stressful.
Yeah, it was a good time. All right.
What's your next question?
Okay, so here's a very, very popular question. We get this one a lot. Do you need a passport?
Tony says, I can't name drop. Maybe the ship will wait for me. Don't mention us. They'll leave you behind. They
might leave early. No, just
wait. They don't have their kids with them, do they? All right.
Do you remember the time that we wanted to get on the Rising Tide bar with the kids, and they're like, this isn't really kid friendly. I'm not kidding you. And I've been on other cruises where they're like, oh, sure, welcome. And I mean, they were very well behaved when we sat in the corner and it wasn't overcrowded and we weren't taking up space. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So do you need a passport? Do you need a passport?
Yes and no.
Where are you sailing?
Exactly. So, no, you do not need a passport because you can travel with, at least in the Caribbean, you can travel with a passport. I'm sorry, with a birth certificate and the photo ID. Or if you're traveling with your kids and you don't want to get passports for your kids.
Go back. So if you're going to Canada, Mexico, or the Caribbean, and here's the key. You have to be leaving from a U.S. port. We're talking about U.S. I mean, we might have some international watchers because you have whatever. If you're leaving from the U.S., we're talking about U.S. passports. If you're leaving from the U.S. and returning to the U.S., so you have to have those two things. You can't be leaving off somewhere else. Right? Closed loop. That's the key. It has to be closed loop. Closed loop means you leave from the U.S. and you return to the U.S. You do not need a passport, but you absolutely do need more than just the license. You need your birth certificate and your license, and the names need to match. Okay, so if you've been married and maybe your birth certificate doesn't have the same name as your license.
Important to think about for honeymoon cruises, things like that.
Then if it's a honeymoon cruise, wait to change your name, wait to do all that.
Yes, because in that situation.
Yes, right, it makes it more difficult. Because they need to match. If they don't, then you need to have the marriage certificate, the birth certificate, and the license. So you need to have your documents in order. They will not permit you to sail if these things don't match. And you will have a very brief amount of time. It's not like you're going to run around and find this stuff. If you show up to the port to get on your cruise and you don't have the right documents in order, you will not be boarding. And then let's talk about that travel insurance. Let's bring it right back around. You show up to the port, don't have your right documents, they don't let you sail, you don't have travel insurance, you lose. You do have travel insurance, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, we'd have to check the plan and the policy. And by the way, we cannot give advice on what plan to get, on what policy to get, anything like that. We are not insurance agents, but we can recommend that you get a plan.
And the vacation voyager's comment is it's so much easier with a passport. Passport is the safe play like travel insurance. Now, what we do for us,
I love ours.
We bring we have the passport books for us and for the kids, and we also got the passport cards, which are only good for Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. But when we get off in port, like we'll leave those passports.
Those cards are so great. It's just like carrying a driver's license, but it's a passport card.
But it's again only good for the
Caribbean. It's easier
to
carry it in the book.
Only good for the Caribbean, Mexico, and Canada. But we will leave the passport books in the safe on those types of cruises and just bring the passport cards with us along with the SeaPass cards, just a little bit easier to carry.
We don't, especially because I think first-time cruisers and new cruisers don't know to ask this question. So we don't have this question on our list, but you just said that. So should you take your passport off the ship with you if you get off at port? That's a good question.
Well, you need something with you and we did this.
You don't have to, but just let me say that. You do not have to. All you need to get off at a port is your sail and sign card. You get off the ship, you get back on, no problem. What happens if you run into an emergency and you get stuck in a foreign country and the ship leaves without you? Now you have just a sail and sign card. I don't want to chance it. We always have, and that's why we like the cards, especially if we're in like the Mexico or the Caribbean, Canada, whatever. But yeah, I recommend carrying your passport with you. I recommend carrying a passport card with you. I do.
Blaine, with his second piece of good advice of the evening, is make sure it's not out of date or close to being out of date, or they will not let you you sail.
Yep.
A good window to think about is 6 months. If your passport's going to expire within 6 months of your cruise, might be a good idea to get that updated. And turnaround times on passports are getting better right now, but they've been pretty held up. So if you haven't gotten your passport yet, please take care of that ASAP. So that way you can book one of our group cruises, preferably June 23rd of 2023 on the Oasis of the Seas out of Bayonne, New Jersey, going down to the Bahamas. Or Jersey Takes Anthem Week in November 5th, 2023 on the Anthem of the Seas out of Bayonne, New Jersey.
All right. Okay, so let's move on. So, and again, if you have any other questions,
I also sell used
please.
cars.
I love you guys jump in more.
I'm trying to keep up with the comments here because there's a lot of great advice in here. So I will keep the comments in the replay. So that's
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yes.
Right, let's see. Hold on. Yes, I do hate that. That's super like anxiety for me, sending in the old passport. It's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
When I get off the ship, I can get home if something happens. Yes, exactly. The cruise line will try to find your passport and medicine if you leave it at the port if you miss the ship. That's a good tip.
That's awesome.
Do you have to get is this the question you're doing right here?
Well, I just posted it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that leads us into the next question, okay? These are questions we get often. Do I have to get off the ship at port? How many ports does it go to? What is there to do in port? So this is all like the same. And again, there's so many of these questions that we get. What is there to do in port? And is it easy to get on and off the ship? So let's just start with that first. Do I have to get off the ship at port? No, absolutely not. You can totally just stay on the ship. You can totally take a cruise, stay on that ship the entire time, and never get off until embarkation and debarkation.
Good night, Josh. Safe travels. Don't know if we'll catch you
This week. Thanks for checking in, guys, and thank you so much for your support.
Enjoy your pork roll tomorrow night.
Sorry. It's okay. No, so yeah, no, you do not need to get off the ship at all. Why? Okay, so let's talk about the next. Before we go to what is there to do in port, let's do the last one. Is it easy to get on and off the ship?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's totally easy.
And no.
Oh, whatever. All you need is your seaboard, your sea pass, right? Your sea pass, your sailing sign, your whatever we're going to call it, the card that they give you that, unlocks your door and that you purchase anything that you want on the ship. You need that to get on and off of the ship. You stand in line, they swipe your card, you get off the ship, or your medallion. Yes, I know, I can't wait to use a medallion. And then you do the same thing. I have been in line behind somebody who lost their sailing sign card or their onboard, whatever, their card, while they were in port. And I'd never experienced that before. So I watched the process. What happens is they pull them aside, they call, they verify, they do a facial rec, and they go through a bunch of things, and then they verified it, they match the information. So if you do happen to get off the ship and lose that card, don't worry. I mean, you will be able to get back on the ship as long as it's legit. Like they'll check you. But
don't try to just go get on another ship. Go ship hopping around.
No, it's not going to work. But you do need that card to get off and on the ship. I think it's trickier when there's tenders because tenders just hold everything up. You got to get on a tender. If you don't know what a tender is when the ship can't dock. So it kind of anchors out at sea. And then a small boat, sometimes a lifeboat, sometimes another little ferry will come out to the ship. You walk over a little bridge to get onto this boat, and the boat will take you to the pier, and then you can get off. That just slows things down. It makes things a little bit more of a hassle.
So if you're gonna be in a tender port, in a way to make things easier for yourself is to whenever you find out that those tender tickets are going to be available, make sure you get as early in line for those tender tickets as possible. If you watch our vlogs from Carnival Magic, we were kind of laissez-faire about it. We said, we'll get off when we get off, which is totally not our style. It's not what we normally do.
Yeah, no, normally we're right on top of everything.
We're like, we'll just have breakfast first. Yeah, no, don't do that.
No, definitely get those tender tickets. And oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Jennifer says, I lost my sailing sign card in Nassau this last cruise. I don't recommend it. Well, good news for you, Jennifer. It looks like Andrew waited for you. So you made it back. So
would you have waited for me? You would have.
James says, what if I do not walk to do not get on tender. No, do not want to get on. No. So there are, if this is a question about accessibility, there are definitely accessible tenders.
Yes.
When we were at
Absolutely.
Half Moon Key, there were every other tender was ADA accessible.
That's a great tip. Mm-hmm. If you do need an accessible tender, make sure you get to the right tender because
yes. James, I have a question. Yes. Okay, I read your question.
So we actually observed somebody, and he was not a very happy gentleman because he'd gotten to the wrong tender and he tried to get a scooter on the non-accessible. And now these tender lines can get pretty long, even once you have your ticket and then you're waiting to get on. It is a hassle. So he waited, and then once he got to the front of the line and got to the front, then his scooter didn't fit, and right, I understand his frustration. So he was frustrated. He had to back up and then wait another 20-30 minutes for the next tender. Felt bad for that gentleman. But yes, you can absolutely get off. There are accessible tenders and it won't be a problem. Just make sure you get on the right tender. And the best thing to do, I think, would be when you go to get those tender tickets or when you would go to let them know that you're getting off the ship, make sure that they know that you need an accessible tender.
Oh, Jennifer says that's where she lost at Nassau. She lost her wallet on the pier, and she's lucky a cruise member turned it into the ship. Yeah, pure panic for an hour. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The last time we were in Nassau, your dad thought he lost a lot of cash.
Yeah, he had like $400 or $500 cash in his pocket, and he thought it fell out of his pocket. He couldn't find it. He ran back on the ship.
That was an adventure.
He did find the money.
Yes.
Or watch the vlog to find out.
Well, you told him now.
It's so funny to watch. Go ahead and watch it.
Blaine. They said tender.
So let's talk about. Right. Well, hold on. There was one other part of that.
Do you have to?
What should I do when I get off? No. Do you have to get off? No. Is it easy to get on and off? Well, yeah.
Well, let me just add before you jump in. Let me just add one thing, and you have to get off the ship. If it's a port that you've been to several times, or you have no interest in anything happening in port, which we will talk about now. There's like when you leave the Northeast on Royal Caribbean, it stops in Port Canaveral.
I wasn't going to call out any specific ports, but okay.
And there's a lot of ships like Norwegian's ship that goes down to Bermuda often stops in Norfolk, Virginia. If those aren't places that there's something really exciting that you want to do,
West Coast, maybe those people want to see those places.
I just said if you're from the Northeast.
Our example is we have no desire to get off some of these ports that we've been to multiple times and have gone there on other types of vacations.
So if this is something, those are good days to use to explore the ship. I mean, if you look at our vlog from our day in Port Canaveral on our Oasis and Seeds group cruise, the kids got to do a lot of the stuff on the ship with less lines, which was kind of cool. So, but now let's say also, we are going to get off the ship.
There are some things too that, especially on Royal Caribbean, well, I don't know that Carnival really has much that is an activity. Well, that's another question too about what entertainment and activities, what's an extra fee, but I know Royal specifically has some things that cost extra, like the North Star and I always forget the name of the fly thing, the iFly. Things like that cost you if it's a day at sea, but sometimes they'll waive that fee when you're at port. We talked about that before, but so that's another way too. If you don't want to go.
Vacation voyagers only like if I'm a ship tours and ports. That's a good time to do it. That or early in the morning or late at night.
And then really quick. I'm just talking about what do you do when you get off? What do you go to a beach, or if you're not in a place that has a beach, go explore the town. There's always at the port. There's almost always local restaurants, local food, local vendors. These are ports, so people, it's a business. People want to sell their wares and their goods. Go explore, go find things.
Look at all these people not getting off in certain ports. I'm like, ooh, I want to go there. Somebody wants to get off in St. Thomas. I'm like, ooh, I want to go there. Blaine doesn't want to get off in Grand Turk. I love Grand Turk.
Yeah, so everybody has their ports that they want to stay and they want to go. Anyway, when you do get off, of course, there's excursions. You can book excursions through the ship or through local vendors. There's with Facebook now and with all these with social media, it's so easy to find somebody that's not associated with the ship that's willing to sell you an excursion. Just know that if you do book an excursion outside of the ship, you're not guaranteed to get back to the ship, and the ship will leave without you. That said, we do it all the time. I'm not opposed to it. I just want you to be aware of that. So if you book through the ship will make sure you get back on. If you book outside of the ship, just beware.
Tony says Pork and Arrows usually an Uber ride to Walmart for more snacks for him. It's not a terrible idea.
How long are we in port? I'm not even going to take that one up there, but how long are you in port? We're going to talk about that while I find the next question.
How long are we in port? It depends on the port. Bayonne, New Jersey, Port Day for sure. Yeah, there's not a lot to do in Bayonne. There's a Starbucks.
In where?
In Bayonne.
Oh, Bayonne.
Well, actually,
I don't think Bayonne is a port, though. To be fair,
well,
obviously it's a port, but I don't think anything. I think it's like always a starter or stop. I don't think that Bayonne is like literally like.
But Blaine, you'll get a very good view of the Bayonne cruise port when you book the How We Cruise group cruise for June 23rd.
And I'll say, if anybody is in Bayonne, either leaving out of a cruise or coming into a cruise, and if we can meet up with you, if we can meet up with you, if we can have a pork roll and cheese, we will absolutely do that. So you got to let us know when you're in town.
Stayed on in Nassau and in Costa Maya. I can see Nassau, but Costa Maya, I love Costa Maya.
I know, I like Costa Maya too. Yeah. Okay, so how much cash should I bring? How much cash do you bring on a cruise? If you guys want to drop how much you actually bring, go ahead. If you want to, if you agree with this question.
We've gotten this question from a lot of new cruisers, and it's funny.
You did a video on this. It was good.
We do. Yeah, I did do a video. I did a video on this on my way to the bank.
Because we get this question all the time.
And it really depends on what you're planning on doing. And, you want to make sure, if you prepay your gratuities, we still like to have some cash on hand for some tips, for some staff. And
totally agree, Blaine. I can't wait.
But as far as the cash, actually look at our last trip that you and I did on NCL Prima. I was so focused on getting off the ship and making sure that we had the right amount of cash with us for what we were going to do and all that. It was I left the credit card on the ship. I left the passports on the ship. I left everything on the ship. We walked off with cash and.
But we also didn't plan on doing much. But
no, we just stayed in the port.
Yeah, but it's pretty funny when you get used to it. So how much?
See the world where Chris says he brings $200 to $300 in cash. You can always bring it back home. Vacation Voyager said,
that's what I say. You can always bring it back home.
Gamble?
Put it back in the bank.
Because if you do, bring double.
That's true. Now, we advise. This is our advice. This is the advice that we take anyway. If you gamble, you can put cash against your Sail and Sign card or your CPass. But to do that very quickly and easily, especially if you're gambling, you can lose track of how much you're spending. So we like to bring cash, and we say this is what we're going to gamble with, and if we win, yay, and if we lose, no problem, because that's what we were willing to spend. And then the other cash that we bring cash for the islands or the ports or wherever we're going to go, and then we bring.
Ding, ding.
We're getting text. I didn't get the ding, so I don't know. I didn't even read it yet. So yeah, we also bring cash for the ports, like things like taxis, things like straw markets, things like souvenirs that you want to purchase, and then we also bring cash for tips for the amazing crew. Even if you're prepaying your gratuities or you're not prepaying and you're paying at the end of your cruise, we still provide tips to the crew above and beyond, who are just amazing.
Vacation Voyagers, yes. Yeah, wife not happy at the end of a cruise when we get the bus. See, we're the other way around.
Oh yeah, no, I don't even look at it.
Julie walks around a cruise ship like,
so since we're talking about cash, people also ask us this a lot. Can I pay
we
cash?
Have a question.
It's my question. Well, it's not my question. It's a question we get all the time.
I'm tired, guys. I'm tired.
Can I pay cash for my drinks at the bar instead of putting it on my onboard account? No. Once you're on the ship, there's like no exchange of cash unless it's a gratuity or a tip. Other than that, cash. Years ago, they used to accept cash for like things like bingo boards and stuff. They don't do that anymore. Everything is Sail and Sign. So
what you can do is when you board the ship, you can take cash over to guest services and load your Sail and Sign card with a preloaded amount of cash, and just when you run out,
you run out.
But
yeah, that's a good way to prevent, like, incurring credit card debt or, extra charges, or, trying to keep it under control. So, no, you can't use cash on the ship to purchase things, but you can use it for gratuities. So, then let's get to this question, because we've gotten this a couple times in a couple different ways.
Oh, this was fun. Yes. I wanted this.
So, and this kind of ties into the travel agent question.
Or you can add more cash during your cruise if you need to.
Yes, absolutely.
That's very, very good point. Yes. So Julie's question that we've gotten regular. Well,
Amanda, my drink is amazing. It's very, very good. I'm sipping on it very slowly, it's good.
We received a question this week from can I use Venmo to pay for my cruise? What options do I have to pay for my cruise?
Yes. So,
the How We Cruise Travel Agency does not accept Venmo.
But let's talk about why. Okay. So when you use it, look, people want to know, like, how can they pay? How can they pay a deposit? How can they pay their balance? And how, especially if you're using your travel agent, can I just give you the money and then whatever? So when you use a travel agent, what happens is we're the middleman, right? Again, you're not paying for our services. You're not. Cruise agency is paying for us to help you. So we take your information and filter it right into the cruise company, the cruise brand, the cruise line. They take that information, but we manage it. So when you pay your deposit, when you pay your final balance, when you ask for help with an excursion or whatever it is that you need help with, we are going directly to the business and giving them your information, but then we're managing it. Mm-hmm. So you're not paying us. You're paying the cruise line. We're just managing it for you. Obviously, securely, safely, and I don't know.
Rob and Katie have joined us.
Hey, guys.
Let's see.
So yeah, so how do you pay? So the other way we've gotten this is, I don't have a credit card. How can I pay for a cruise? Well, you don't need to give them a credit card when you actually get to the ship. You can pay like a minimum deposit of cash, but to book your deposits and to book, like, you need some sort of debit, some sort of prepaid, some sort of something. You need a card to put in, because there's no other way. Like, we can't mail in a check or mail in cash to book your deposit. So you do need some sort of card.
Chris makes a good point here. The cruise line has to have a method to refund you if there's a problem.
Absolutely. That's a really good tip. Yeah. And, well, that brings up another tip too, because we've gotten this question a lot. Is my deposit refundable? In short,
sometimes.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on how you book, who you book with, and your means of booking. But for the most part, usually, usually there's things written that make it very clear, is your deposit refundable? My advice is to find out before you put that deposit down, is my deposit refundable? Because if you know, then you know. And then you know. So, yeah. But
the chat is, I'm trying to keep up with the chat because there's some good comments in here. And we'll start with Destination Fun said that if the excursion is far from the port, we always take it through the cruise line. They were delayed 3 hours due to a shooting on the interstate, and the interstate was closed. And the follow-up to that is they were in panic mode because they were in San Juan and no one took their passport. So if the ship had left, they would have been screwed. Yes. So, yes, pros and cons. There's a whole conversation to be had of, do I book my excursions through the ship or on my own? But before we get to that, there was one question here that I want to address. Yeah. And again, do you guys believe in prepaid tips or tip as you go, or both?
That is a Great question. I love that question because we've never really talked about that.
Well, it's a very personal question.
Yeah.
And it's really is what the answer to it is, the answer for you is whatever you are comfortable with. But the answer,
I'll share what I want to do.
The answer from us is we do both. We leave the prepaid gratuities on.
Can I say though that the answer to this question for us?
As soon as I finish what I was saying.
Well, before you say it, I want to say our answer has changed over the years. So what we do today isn't what we did 10 years ago, and it's not what we did before that, because I think things evolve and change. So now go ahead. Love you.
So if there's a kick count when I say something, how do we...
Come on, let's address it. Come on.
Well, now you threw me off the rails, and I don't know what I was talking about.
Gratuities.
Yeah, I know I was talking about gratuities. Now we're moving on to another question. Catherine says, I pay my gratuities with my cruise and bring extra cash for tips as well, as typically $1 per drink on the receipts. So yes, that's a good way to do it. We often find we'll do the prepaid gratuities, and then we will also have some cash on hand for those that we are big fans of the main dining room. We like to eat there. Our kids like to eat there, and we like to have a set seating, so we have the same server for the entire cruise. Our kids get to know our kids, and it's a really good situation.
I'm going to change up the next question we're going to talk about.
So we'll throw extra tip to a waiter, we'll throw extra tip to a room steward, but yes, to any bartenders along the way.
I was just going to say, like, we really like the prepaid gratuities. Just make sure that everybody who needs to get their gratuity is getting it. But we also recognize that there are people that are working, like, that's part of their salary. That is part of what they're getting, right? So, like, it's just like when you're a waiter or waitress, like, they're expecting you to get tips so they can give you some wages a little bit lower. Same thing on the cruise ship. Their wages are a little bit lower because they're expecting these tips. They know they're going to get them. Can you remove them? Absolutely. I don't believe that's the right thing to do because these people are working really, really, really hard for you. But again, this is a very American belief. It's not the same as it is in other countries.
More importantly, Rob wants to know what the kick counts out. I've been very quiet tonight.
I haven't kicked him once. I haven't even elbowed you.
Jane says she'd butter up to you.
So anyway, listen. So we do both. Yes, like you said, we do both. But I was going to go with a different question, but let's go with this next. So the question that we get a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. But the question we get a lot is.
Ooh. Rob said they just got off the Maravillion this morning and had a drink section, never had to sign a receipt.
Wow, that's cool.
I love never having to sign receipts.
I would love not to have to sign receipts.
We did it on Royal Caribbean last time.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
I don't remember. Anyway, next question. Why am I prepaying my... This question is a lot on NCL. It's on other lines too, but specifically on NCL with their
to the NCL drink bag.
with the way they do their free at sea. But why am I paying gratuities on my drink package and their food package if I'm already prepaying my other gratuities? So it's almost like if you're doing an NCL, especially with the free at sea package, you have your gratuities, and then they charge you with an additional set of gratuities if you have the drink package that's free or included, and your dining package, which is also free or included. So why are you double paying these gratuities? The reason for that is very basic, very simple. The gratuities that are included for, like, the main gratuities are going to your main wait staff in the main dining room. They're going to your cabin stewards. They're going to the people who are really taking care of the main bulk of your cruise. Because let's face it, not everybody wants or takes the drink package, right? Not everybody wants or takes specialty dining. So those things, the main bulk of your gratuities aren't going to those people. And if your gratuities aren't going to those people, and then you get the drink package, well, of course, there's going to be additional gratuities for those people as well. So they're separate entities. So even though your You may, like NCL, you may have an open bar, right? Or you may have a drink package. They're going to charge you the gratuities for that. Same thing with the dining. So
let's jump to James.
That's why.
James's question here. He said, how do you tip the luggage and bar service? I was thinking get thank you envelopes to give them. Now, yeah, so when we do, so the tips that we'll leave usually are for our room steward. I usually, I like to throw them a little something at the beginning, and then depending upon how messy our kids are throughout the week.
Everybody gets different, yeah.
We like to throw them, and if I can find them in the hallway on debarkation day, I like to hand it personally right to them.
Yeah, we always like to hand it
I don't, it's just, I prefer that. There's a lot of people that'll spread, cash out and write things on the bed with their cash. I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. Or, putting it in an envelope with their name on it with a little notes. Very nice also. As far as the bar staff, if there's a bartender that has really helped you out during the week and has been super attentive to you, to find them towards the end of the cruise and give them a little extra is something really nice to do. Or going, drink for drink. If you're ordering a drink, you never know.
I know a lot of people that do that.
If you're going to be bouncing all over the ship, throw $1 here,
$1
$1
to cash
$2
with every drink they order. And, so yeah.
Z has joined us. Hello, Z. How are you?
Thanks
for joining us.
Can we go to the next question? Because
yes, you should.
This question, the first time I ever heard it, I was surprised. But then the more I heard it, I hear this question all the time, and I go, well, yeah, all right. I know it does. So the question is.
Oh yeah, this was a question that.
It happens all the time.
And you know what?
And I go, wait.
We have a lot of people in the chat.
If you've asked this question, do not feel bad because it gets asked all the time.
A lot of regular cruisers in this chat here, but there's also a lot of people that are new cruisers and
just not seasoned cruisers. And you don't know from line to line how it's going to be different, especially when you hear things like specialty dining and you hear things like, you hear all these different labels and whatever. Is food included? I do not know of a mainstream cruise line that does not include your basic food and at least your water and very basic beverages such as lemonade, iced tea, and tea and coffee. So your food, yes, your food is included.
Chris said they met a couple that did not realize the MDR was included until the last night.
Miss out on
all that MDR food.
And I love the MDR. I absolutely love in every ship that I've ever been on. I could not. Specialty dining is great. It's really awesome. But, you actually said this because I love things like, the hibachi restaurants. I love, going to the Italian place or going to the French place or going to, the Irish pubs, whatever they are. But you have made a good point to say, we, especially in the Northeast where we are, we can go to specialty restaurants like that wherever we are. But if your food is included and you can go sit in a nice restaurant every single night, why not? Like, you can go to do hibachi anytime.
Tony says even prison ships give you free meals. Nowadays, it is a good question because they are now charging for extra items that used to be free. That is true now. So if you're ordering extra entrees and things like that, you used to be able to sit down and be like 17 lobster tails, please. And as long as you said please, they were pretty good with it. Not so much anymore. But
no, they really, again, they only charge you above and beyond. Is your food included? The simple answer is absolutely yes. There is so much to find that is included on every ship that I've ever been on. I'm sure that somebody out there can prove me wrong, but everything from snacks to even room service deals and
I think
your food. You will not go hungry on a ship and do not have to pay for specialty dining or.
The only ship that I'm aware of, and this may not even be a blanket answer. I'd have to research this, so fact check me on this, but. We were hearing that the Margaritaville at Sea cruise line that is owned by Jimmy Buffett is
which again is
very
not that
a la carte,
mainstream. I'm not talking. That's why I made a preface with mainstream, and I was actually thinking that in my head. Margaritaville at Sea is a little bit different, so we're not going to talk about that without being educated on it.
We won't talk about it.
We welcome anybody who has experience to drop their comment. But yes, food is absolutely included. It's a great question, and it's definitely something that you want to know. If you're going to go on a cruise ship,
but
you don't want to be hit with a dining bill every day.
But a lot of these cruise lines now all have specialty dining experiences that that they're all fantastic. They're all spectacular. They're all worth trying out if you're willing to spend a few extra bucks. But I'm going to cut you off with one more question because you're at 61 minutes.
I was just looking at the time. I know we're close. I want like two or three really short questions. Okay,
one.
Really, really, really short.
I got one.
Really, really short. No.
One.
Can I bring a distilled water for my CPAP? Because I see this a lot, and I don't know, not only in my chats but like in Facebook threads. So the distilled water for your CPAP, you can call ahead of time and have it sent to your room. No problem. They will definitely bring it to your room. Every cruise line has it. They will take care of your CPAP. They will do that for you. So no worries for that.
That was I'll let you have one more.
Okay, thanks. Because I want to talk about one more thing then after that. Sorry.
Listen, people,
yeah, and they can sign off. I appreciate them all being in here very much. I know you do. So what's the best cruise line? We get that all the time.
Whatever one I'm on.
Listen, we say it all the time. We say it over and over and over again. Every cruise line, every ship has its own personality. We can't tell you what you're going to like. We know what we like.
That one.
Okay.
Or possibly that one.
We can't tell you what you're going to like, but if you do your research and you follow different social media and you talk to a travel agent, talk to people that you know that who cruise, talk to people who you know have opinions, and then base your decision on that, and then go with your gut. And then once you start cruising, or once you've been on a few cruises, you'll kind of know what you like. You know, some people like Carnival, some people like Royal, some people like Norwegian, some people like Celebrity, some people like Princess, some people like Viking, some people like Virgin. There's so, just like you mix with some people and you don't mix with other people. You're gonna mix with some cruise lines, you're gonna mix with some ships, and you're not gonna mix with others. I can't tell you what you're gonna like. And as your travel agent, if you choose me to be your travel agent or you, we can't tell you what you're gonna like, but we can definitely tell you our experience and what we know about these different ships and these lines.
Yeah, that's the exact answer, Chris. It really depends on what you're looking for in a cruise. And of the last, so our last 3 cruises were a Carnival, a Royal Caribbean, and a Norwegian. And there were things on all 3 ships that I absolutely loved. And while I was on the ship, said, I cannot believe that every other ship doesn't do this way. And there were things on each one of those 3 ships where I said, I absolutely despise this. I hate this. I can't believe they do it this way. So of those 3 lines, I'll go on all 3 again because they all have things that are such a draw. But we are at 65 minutes, so I'm going to hit Julie's
my very last thing here. And we were going to start with this.
Unless somebody else drops a question in the chat. That means you want to stay. So if you want to stay, you have to drop a question in the chat.
If you drop a question, we'll definitely answer it. But the last thing, and we were going to start with this, and we decided to jump right into questions, is, and this is from Little Bry, our oldest son.
Oh, yeah.
He said, we said, what should we talk about tonight? And he said, tell people what it's like to be on a cruise at Christmas time. Because last year, we boarded Harmony of the Seas. What are you laughing at? We boarded Harmony of the Seas on December 26th.
Talk to Josh about
that. So, and then we were on the Carnival Magic for Easter at April. So we were on the ship the day after Christmas, and then we were on the ship and for New Year's, and then we were on the ship for Easter.
Yeah, we did do a lot.
Yeah, we have done a lot of holidays. Our kids are young, so it's kind of tricky to do holidays.
We were on NCL on Halloween too.
And that's true. That's true. We were on an NCL for Halloween. So, holidays on the ship are a fantastic way to celebrate a holiday. No matter what you celebrate, I don't care what your belief system is, your religion, who you are, or how you celebrate different times of the year. I know a lot of people like to do like 4th of July time too. Cinco de Mayo. That's another big one that people like to celebrate. So, if you want to celebrate and you're on a cruise ship, the cruise ship does accommodate to, I think, just about every culture, because you talk about melting pot. I don't think there's any bigger melting pot than a cruise ship. The passengers, the crew, there's such an amazing way to meet people from all walks of life in all kinds of ways.
Chris said they were on the Scarlet Lady last December, and there wasn't one Christmas decoration.
Really? That's really good information. But what time in December were you on? Was it like mid? Was it early? Was it after Christmas? That's crazy. But you know,
Vacation Voyager says they have to pack from Seas coming up Wednesday. Have fun.
Have fun.
I want to go Mariner. Let's go Wednesday.
Well, no, we can't. We have our Christmas concert.
Oh, we have a lot to do.
Kids have a Christmas concert. Yeah. So if you want to cruise up for a holiday, if it's a holiday that you celebrate, it'll be recognized. I mean, I can't speak for Viking.
Virgin. Yeah, they said it was the 10th through the 15th.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's yeah.
Let's see.
Rob
said MSC was decked out for Christmas. Trees, lights, reflecting all squares.
Do you know? I was watching because we watch all kinds of vlogs. We're always keeping up to date with all the other creators are doing. Yeah, and I was watching Sharon at Sea. They did a back-to-back on the celebration, and they were on the first week, and then they went to the dining room. I don't know, it was embarkation day or debarkation day or whatever, and then they came back. And by the time they walked into the restaurant, and then by the time they walked out, there was she said they saw them pulling out the decorations, and then the trees were already put up. She's like, "Wow, that was fast." I mean, on the embarkation days and debarkation days, they do this turnover so fast. But yeah, so holidays are celebrated; they're recognized for the most part. I mean, and
says I'm booked on Jubilee next Christmas for the.
It's a nice way. It's a really nice thing to do. So I would do it again in a heartbeat, especially as our kids continue to get older. Mm-hmm. I think there's no way to celebrate especially that Christmas week, but other times of the year too. I love it.
Yeah. So that's. Did you get through at least most of your questions?
Yeah, I think we did.
Well, and of course we are always here for questions. We love talking cruise. We talk cruise every Sunday night. Sometimes we struggle for.
Oh, this is a good one, but we'll do more. We're always doing this.
We'll be back next week, and we have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram, TikTok, but a little bit less on TikTok. We've got to keep up with the TikTok.
Trying to do more shorts,
but we definitely had
Odyssey next Saturday.
Odyssey's going to be very.
Oh, I haven't been on Odyssey. I hope you have a fantastic
time. Comment here. I just want to throw this out there. So, because James did say, "Where to go?" You're welcome. Because James is a first-time cruiser. And we love answering first-time cruisers.
We would absolutely love if you would keep us posted. Yes, let us know how your cruise goes. Let us know how it went. Chime back in on a live. Send us messages on Instagram or Facebook.
Until March, so we have some time to get them
pumped up. Well, that's what I say. Keep asking questions.
Yes.
And then keep tuning into the lives. Scroll down because I saw another couple.
Do part 3 next week. It's just like one rolling live. It keeps going. Tony, we're gonna need some.
We're going with the questions. This is what we go with. What we think wants to be heard. So if you guys want us to do a topic, that's actually good. If you guys want us to do a topic, anything, you post, send it to us. Send it to us in a private message. Send it to us on our Facebook page. Send it to us in a comment on Facebook. We're always reading our comments. We're always keeping track.
Chris, I think it's good to have these questions. So many lives just talk about current stuff. You know what, Chris? We are. You know what? There's in the cruise, and I love this community.
I love that comment, Chris.
Well, there's people that do cruise news, so I watch them to keep up.
And we love them. We watch them.
We got 3 kids. We got 5 jobs? What are we up to? 5 jobs now? I don't know. We're busy. So I can't keep up
everywhere.
I can't keep up with cruise news. So I watch those. I listen to them on my way to work. So I know what's going on, but it's not my wheelhouse. Well, we love answering questions.
Chris,
so
can I tell you why I love that comment? Because we had a specific comment. I said, you know what? There's so many people out there doing cruise news, and I appreciate you all. I watch you all, and I watch how everybody delivers the same type of news. Because let's face it, there's only so much cruisers, and you guys do a fantastic job. I appreciate you. I love you. Keep doing what you do. We need you. We don't do cruise news because I said to Bri, cruise news changes all the time. It's so up to date. It's so whatever. We want to share our experience. We want to share how we do what we do. We want to take you with us. Our lives are much different than our vlogs, but our vlogs are we don't want to show you a picture of what it's going to look like when you're there. We want to take you with us so you can kind of try to experience our experience and then relate that to yourself, whether it's something you want to do or not want to do.
You have to join in our chaos.
Because anybody can see a picture of what it looks like, but not anybody can actually experience it. And that's our aim. That's our goal. That's our mission. That is our perspective. So that is why we do what we do. That's why we do these lives, and we love interacting with the chats because we want to bring you with us, and we want to be part of. I don't know. So anyway,
James
if that makes sense.
All right, so let's just hit off the last couple comments. James says he'll be on the Pride. That's his first cruise, March 9th. I think that's a good first cruise. And Destination Fun was able to say, check out their. They have a video on their things to do with Port of Tampa. Check it out before you go on the Pride. That'll be good.
Oh
so
yeah,
make sure you
that's a great tip. Thank you for sharing that, Destiny.
Guys, everybody, scroll back through the chat. If there's channels in here that you're not subscribed to yet, there is a lot of experience in this chat. And please go back, subscribe to all those channels. Check out the live streams. A lot of these channels have live streams, and we have fun chatting just about every night of the week. Somebody's live, so we get to get together. We get to talk about cruising. We get to share what we know, share what we love. So I think
if you haven't already, subscribe.
Yes, if you haven't already, subscribe to all. Not only to us, but all the channels in the chat. I think the next live we have is our next live will be next Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Tomorrow night,
Tony. I'm not a creator. I just bug them. But no, you're a supporter, Tony.
You don't bug anyone, Tony. We love you. You're the best.
But
can't wait to cruise with you.
This week, the next live out of the people in the chat is Have Luggage Will Travel tomorrow night.
Tune in.
And I have a feeling that they might be talking about possibly
meeting some really cool people in New York City.
They had a really cool experience. They met this super vlogger last week. They did. No, they're like super famous. Mm-hmm. They have at least 1,200 subscribers. They're
anyway. They're dropping like flies.
Goodbye, everybody.
Guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. If you haven't, subscribe, share our channel, and if you have questions, whether we're your travel agent or not, please don't hesitate to reach out to us personally on Facebook Messenger, email, howicruise@gmail.com, or Julie@howicruise.com, or Brian@howicruise.com. We'll answer all of your questions. You can also drop a comment on any of our videos, and
Tony,
we answer them all.
Thank you for saying he didn't need a munchkin or an Oompa Loompa. That's all. Thank you. But thank you very much for joining us, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next week or in somebody else's chat during the week, and we will see you on the seas.
See you on the seas.